when we did some work for the City of Los Angeles for the Recreation and Park Department, and there was we did a needs assessment for the city Parks Department. It was like, what was it that people felt they needed the most? And one would have thought they would have said more soccer fields or more. Everybody just was set up for that. And what they talked about was connectivity. That was the term they used. That's impressive. Like, there's just this sense that, we're a series of villages, and we want to be more connected to each other and internally, and it's really interesting. So one of the things that we talk about a lot is sort of what is the notion of a symbiotic city, and that's a city that basically really kind of where the whole notion of ecosystem services is. Has anybody heard about the term ecosystem services? How many of you have heard of the term? So this is kind of so a city that is balanced and that provides, and you can measure the services, and it's being used, interestingly enough, now. Years ago, when there was these conversations about how do we get funding to, for example, deal with the urban forest, or during big events, big sort of disasters, and we are in the middle of one, which is the drought. How do you address funding? And one of the things that came about is that we could be dealing with a way of balancing by having the banking system get engaged in the funding on this carbon sequestration. And since they figure out how to make money out of many things, they figured out how to get money, and actually came out of Stanford University research. So these services have to deal with water, and they have to deal with soil and air, and even sort of the social aspects. But so this whole notion of the ecosystem and the services. So one of the supportive services, in order to really be able to, let's say, sell the credits, carbon credits, out in the banking world, is to really think about seed dispersal and production, and then provisioning services like food and water and raw materials, and then the regulating services, which is that sequestration. I think now everybody understands that we really have to be more mindful of how we address water, as an example in California. How do we deal with fire? How do we balance the needs of the population?